Welcome to the Kiev Major. It is day 3 of the main event. We've had our group stages, we've had our round of 16. Things are getting even more serious as we head into the quarterfinals today, and all 4 quarterfinal series will be broadcast live for the Kiev Major. Yesterday was epic. It had just about everything you could ever wish for from a day of Dota 2. As we wrapped up the round of 16, we had to wait until the end for the biggest surprise of them all. Let's take a look back at day 2 of the main event.
Previously on the Kiev Major.
And all of a sudden TNT, this is a good job!
Oh, he's done it! He snatched the Aegis Jack!
Oh,
Huge AoE damage comes through for the Crystal Nova. TNT falling low, jabs with the big ball play!
Mana, and he has Mana Void still.
Oh,
Black could
that's
do
going to be a
lot of damage
huge amount
here.
of burst, and there we have it, the flying in. He doesn't even need to use the Mana Void. Jabs takes the kill as he tosses Black.
The Omni Knight ulti also didn't save the Venge. She died really early. Speaking of death, that is a dead Nyx. Oh.
Oh, no. Oh, he's going to get out. Oh, my. No. Kill yourself. No, the stick one charges. Oh. No. 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 The Yoga ends up stunning himself. Black, absolutely lovely. GG is called. Black and the boys have done it. Faceless take the series 2-1.
Y is going to show himself, immediately going to be pounced on, and shouldn't have much of a chance here, especially with Fly able to secure the kill. That being said, both Weaver and Night Stalker on their way, and they're very mobile heroes, but S4 can turn things around. He managed to get a 3-man ulti with the follow-up from Anna. They're going to be able to take all these kills. S4 comes in big time and says, I do not need a Naga Siren to set me up. Going to jump forward, will manage to grab Fly. That's a big one. They can actually finish him off. Meanwhile, the Brewmaster initiation comes out, unable to get the silence fast enough, but they do have the swap out to be able to buy Blink some time, and his ultimate is doing a lot of work. OG are low on all sides. Fly even the back, almost taken out. They do have another great Winter's Curse for the Shalgrave. Will manage to save Jarek just in time. Big jump in from Anna, tries to get the burst damage, but now he's silenced up, and he's just going to die to Shadow. Jarek jumps forward, trying to finish off Blink, but it's not quite enough. Blink with the Gold Scepter is able to defend himself. Now it's going to be Fly, food for fodder, as Shadow managed to pick up another kill, looks for the wipe as No Tail's going to be the final man down of OG. Stable concoction queued up. Dual Scepter to dodge, but Fabian's still going to be caught in the process, and it looks like Blink can't manage to make it out. LSA hits on 2, but now Duel onto Shadow. They can't afford to lose their animage. What a beautiful boundless strike, and a Telekin is follow-up. They're actually stunning all these heroes. They need the big ultimate to finish this one up. And in the back, Fly's dead. Here comes the ultimate. It's not enough to finish off Anna. Shadow didn't have that much mana burnt in out now. Shadow's going to be caught. He doesn't have to blink away. He's dead. 80 seconds. No buybacks coming up from Team Random. There is no way that Blink can do enough damage, can he? It's not. GG is called.
smoke will break. Misery gets the vision. Oh no! Boom is the Burrow strike, and it comes to Mail. Looking for the opening, the Eclipse will fall. Where is the glaive damage? Arteezy still alive for the moment, but probably not for much longer. Misery, he will finally fall. Boom pushing himself up the hill, but Samael, under the cover of his own BKB, has the life. Weeha trying to man this up, but he can't get out. He will be able to find at least one kill on the support, but he cannot survive. So Moon is moving over. He can potentially kill off the Io. Samael is in the neighborhood, and he actually gives a Lincoln Sphere protection to Zai. Moon can't go on him, and the duel, it wraps up the Rubik, not to mention the overwhelming odds. Universe, he's a match rock, just putting tire marks all over Moon's face. A triple kill.
Need to win his duel. I'm taking bets here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, I'm over. The Sonic Wave will try and help Alice against the Medusa, the biggest target. The Dream Call is down, but there's just no follow-up without the Medusa. Thunderbirds, they're losing everything under their shrine, and GG, well played. It won't even take the half-hour mark. And Evil Geniuses will 2-0 through into the quarterfinals.
Could be a good initiation. The hook, perfect.
Static Storm's there for the follow, but he just uses and tries to survive for now. Now the snowball comes in. The rock gets dropped. Looking to counterplay this. Mid one there with the chain. Sleight of fist as well. Continues to work. Round it forward. Kaboom! They just explode.
Mid one did a pretty good attempt, but with all of those illusions beating on him, an SF illusion of his own, he actually just died quite quick to physical.
NRD's in deep. He's going to drop the cloud. Surprise, he says, as they unload. Tavo's there with the follow-up. Now the glimpse back. They look for more. HFN going to force out the borrow time, and they will retreat. Adriano, he's got the BKB, commits, looking for the Kezu pick. Can they lock him down, finish him off? Not quite able to do so. Now the Roar coming down, keeping him in place. The Slark fights on, through it all, and now the Epi is a massive ball of damage that Tavo delivers. Crushing Secret, and SG have pulled out the miracle in Kiev. The comeback kids are in town today.
The most discounted series of the day turns out to be by far the biggest upset. We are about to see some very excited guys running onto the stage.
It joins the list of the many now, the underrated team defeating a former champion of the major. Team Secret out in the round of 16 after coming through the group stages as the #1 seed at the tournament. Incredible scenes last night. I'm sure Brazil partied hard into the night, and they will be back, of course, to cheer on their team once more in the quarterfinals later on today. Our panel are back with us this morning. We've got Conrad, Merlini, and Ellie all back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Has everyone recovered from that last night?
I just control W'd out of Team Secret's draft. Won't be needing that anymore.
Nope. You can dust those players.
Yeah. But if you started them, you can't dust them. So who did that?
I started mid one, but during the group stage. So I don't know if it counts for the main stage.
I think it counts.
Yeah, I had Pilot in my team last night.
I forgot to set my roster yesterday.
Did you?
So did I.
Yeah.
Damn. No points for Ben then.
Yeah.
Let's just have a quick wrap up on yesterday. Curtis, when you looked at the lineup, you would have assumed that the only series we could have counted on was the last one, being a 2-0 for Secret.
Yeah, it looked that way. Secret looked incredibly strong in the group stages. You know, they were the top seed. SG, you know, they had the first good game, but they haven't looked as strong since. But hey, it's single limb.
Yeah, no, it's single limb. And it also, I love what Wikram put up on Twitter, is that no team is too big to lose at a major.
No, and I think the single limb highlights it a lot more. I think a lot of people compare this to OG TNC, but OG lost in the upper bracket, but everyone forgets that because it's double elimination, and I think that was pretty big. Them immediately dropping down.
Had Finham beating Newbie.
Yeah.
Boston, round 1, round of 16 as it was. I mean, have there been many bigger shocks than what we had last night?
I think Adfinim's run through Boston was probably one of the biggest shocks for me. But
in single matches,
in single matches,
in a difference between communities in terms of experience.
Was it Unknown versus Newbie at Frankfurt?
Yeah.
Unknown is the other big one. I mean, another South American team. But I think this one to me is the biggest one, especially because Secret was so dominant during the group stage. They looked unstoppable. I don't think they lost a single game, and and then they go against SG, who did not look very strong, and it shows that one best of 3, that's all that can matter, especially in single elimination.
And they were 20-0, Secret.
Right.
Yeah. So they won the first game. That was their 20th consecutive game win.
Please, they're from an easy region.
Woo.
I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Does NA still deserve a spot? An extra spot after this one?
My bad. Forgot I was on an NA panel for a moment. It's all good. It's under control again. We're back to reality. Let's take a look at the bracket and show you how things have panned out in total, because there were some other great performances yesterday as well, not least of which from Evil Geniuses, which dispatched Thunderbirds in 2. Very, very good performance from EG, and they're also joining that fight for the title. OG also came through a very tough matchup against Team Random with a 2-1 victory. And our other match, of course, was the all-SEA affair, where TNC, who came through as the higher seed, yet again went down to Faceless. That completed our round of 16. As you can see, our quarterfinals are all in there. IG versus Liquid, VGJ versus Pro, Faceless OG, and EG versus SG. Crit said in an interview yesterday, Conrad, when he was asked by Shiva, she jokingly said, I was going to ask you who you're likely to face tomorrow, but I guess you're going to face Secret. Oof. And Crit said, actually, I'm hoping SG win, because those guys have scrimmed with each other a lot, and they know them really well, and they know what a great bunch of guys they are. And Crit said that he hoped that they would get through just purely for Brazilian Dota.
Yeah, I mean...
He's got his wish. He's woken up this morning and gone, wait, that happened?
I mean, I definitely feel like they're going to be more confident against SG versus, Secret.
Yeah.
But one of the key things is I remember maybe a couple years ago, this is the exact, or one of the exact same rosters that they had a little bit of a spat on when they had a competitive match. And, well, it looks like they're going to get their wish. Maybe, hopefully, SG has an upset here. I don't know. I'm still going for EG, but I'm very excited to see that matchup.
Just on this, Curtis, I'm going to read this out to you, and you can tell me what you make of it. If SG were to make the final, the same way as Adfinum did in Boston, they will have had to have beaten Team Secret, Evil Geniuses, potentially OG, just to get to the final.
That's a lot of Tier 1 teams they have to beat.
But all of those teams are now going to be a little more wary, aren't they?
I think they will be. I think the teams will still go in confident, but they just showed you can never count them out. I thought Secret was going to do really well in this tournament.
Yep.
I'm still in shock that they didn't, and it wasn't just the fact that they beat them. It wasn't a she-strat. Unknown ran Huskar to beat Newbie, I think, in Frankfurt. It wasn't anything like that. They played good, solid Dota.
Straight up team fight.
They outplayed Team Secret. They out-team fought them. They outdrafted them. They just played like a top-tier Dota team.
We're going to look forward to our quarterfinals today, Ben. There are 4 of them. Obviously, we're going to have all 4 today. Which one stands out for you?
Probably IG Liquid, I suppose, is probably the closest one.
That's the one we're going to open with.
Yeah. I'm also excited to see EG versus SG, especially if they've scrimmed each other before. Those games are usually a little bit special in their own right.
If you looked at this on paper, Conrad, the 4 you'd pick out would presumably be IG, Virtus Pro, OG, and EG.
Yeah. And I still think I stick with that. But as we seen yesterday, kind of anything can happen. Thunderbirds looked pretty solid during the group stage.
Yeah.
And, maybe EG looked a little bit weak, but clearly some of these teams have a really good ability to, kind of gather their thoughts, see what they've learned in the group stage, and then move on to this main stage and utilize what they have.
Out of the 8 that are left, Curtis, who's the favorite now?
I like VP.
Yeah.
I think in the group stage they showed that they were playing the strongest, most fluid Dota. And not only that, we had that interview with Lil. I think they have tons of strategies saved up. The thing about Lil is he might be a bit cocky, but he'll back it up.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they bring. I mean, I think they'll win their match play handily, but I'm still the most excited to see them play just because I'm watching VP play.
Yeah.
As I said, they'll probably lose, but I would bet on VP though.
The other question that we have to answer, Conrad, as well, are we going to get a Chinese major winner? We haven't had one yet if you exclude the TIs.
I mean, potentially you could see one in the semifinals, maybe 2 teams in the semifinals. IG, obviously one of the favorites coming into this tournament. I think this match, like Ben said, this is going to be the closest match. If they're able to beat Team Liquid, I could see them going to the finals and doing really well, depending on who they meet in the lower or the lower side of the bracket.
Yeah, the lower side of the bracket obviously has Faceless down there, OG, EG, and SG. So there are those 3 Chinese teams all in or 2 Chinese teams in the top half. Isn't as many as we perhaps thought we might get through here. There are quite a lot of teams here.
I mean, 5 teams.
Yeah.
2 of them make it through. That's not too bad. You know, I think some of those teams looked a little bit weaker coming into this. IGVs particularly wasn't looking too strong coming into this event. Especially during the group stage, I think we saw a lot of their weaknesses exploited.
Expected more from Newbie?
A little bit. They had a tough first round matchup.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, Liquid's good solid team, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at least China's doing better than Boston. I think in Boston, the only Chinese team that went through is the one that played the Chinese team. So.
Or Shanghai Major.
Or Shanghai Major.
Yeah, on home turf, that was a rough one.
What is it about majors that they don't seem to do well at?
I don't know, because you see, they did very poorly last year's major, and then you had Team Random come out at TI6 and just crush everyone.
Yeah.
I think they only dropped games where they picked Pudge on the main stage, so.
Or Jakiro.
Or Jakiro, apparently. But, like, I feel like there's a... I mean, they're taking it seriously, but I don't think they put the same level into a major as in TI.
Right.
I think there's still a difference for them. I think for a lot of teams there is, but I don't know why. I mean,
Xiao 8 comes back for TI, dude.
Yeah,
He'll come back for
there's Xiao 8 factor.
You get the Xiao 8 and
Is he unretired again?
He will be for TI every year. He's like, oh, I'm out of retirement. Okay, we'll offer you $50 million. Okay,
I guess.
That's not what happens for him.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, we are waiting for the start of the show, of course, to come to you live from the National Palace of Arts in Kiev. And until we get there, why don't we check in with our social media questions? There is another thread up on Reddit today as well. Thanks for all of the questions that you've posted throughout the tournament. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun with the questions. This one is, at Owie, what is more fun, being a panelist or playing with Envy? Be careful what you say. He may be watching.
I like playing with them.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay,
Is
so he doesn't like paneling with us, guys.
No, it's awful. But I think, like, okay, you know the old Cloud9 team, lots of second, lots of throws, very clowny.
Yeah, I think Conrad might remember that.
Yeah, any of those players who played on that team, that was the most fun we had in Dota.
Right.
Like, maybe not the losing every finals part, but just how we, like, talked about the game, how we would approach the game. You know, that was a good time in Dota.
Are you aware of the Cloud9 TI rule?
What's the Cloud9 TI rule?
Well, all of the former Cloud9 players have to win a TI. And there's only one left.
No, it would have been a Valve Major event.
A Valve
event. Sorry, a Valve Major, yeah.
There's 2, actually.
There's 2.
Is there 2?
Bone 7 and Fada.
Oh, of
but
course.
Fada's been to 2 grand finals.
Yes, he has.
Which is pretty impressive, nevertheless.
He's the one who channeled the Cloud9 blood, so.
But that, I mean, when you look back on that lineup, that's an incredible lineup. How did it not have any success?
Yeah, it's weird, especially the one after me and Pai left the team. That one with like Misery and Noto.
Yeah.
Like you look at what those 2 players in particular came in, like that lineup really didn't do anything for how good the players were. And then they left the team, and you have second place at TI, 3 major wins. I don't know. It's I think it says a lot to the fact that you can have really good players, but if they don't mesh well, you're not going to have a really good team. Dota at the heart is a team game.
Absolutely. I remember the TI5, the start of TI5. I think you and I were involved in some sort of weird TV production that they were doing around C9. Do you remember? There was a documentary.
There was a documentary. Yeah.
And they asked me the question directly on camera. Do you think Cloud9 can win the international? I went, no. And he went, oh yeah. Can you be a bit more, positive? What?
You didn't believe, Paul?
I didn't.
I'm heartbroken.
So did you reshoot it?
I didn't believe, unfortunately.
Did they make you reshoot it, and then you were like,
they
no
did.
again?
They didn't, because they came off the camera. They were like, do you really not think they will? And I was like, no, I don't think they're the favourites at all. And he was like, oh, we were led to believe that they were kind of like, a big deal and that they would probably go quite far. I was like, I think they might go far, but I don't think they'll win. And he was like, yeah, we won't ask you that then. And then just carried on.
I mean, you were right. We got 12 top 12 in that event. Not obviously the best.
That was an underperformance, though.
Yes. We played CDEC first round. Highly underrated that team, I believe. And I can't remember who we lost to in the lower bracket, but I've erased that.
It's a blur.
I've just erased that from my memory.
It's just removed.
Was it VG?
Yeah, you got Cloud9 lost to VG.
Yeah, we lost.
Group A.
Hard games.
Tough stuff. but it all comes round. Okay, let's go to the stage right now and have an opening for day number 3 here at the Kiev Major.
The early triumphs and defeats, all but forgotten. All have struggled to climb, but only 8 will continue their ascent towards the summit. Invictus Gaming.
Maybe we can blow him up, but OP, he's laying waste to all the other Valve members, and they...
Team Liquid.
They're falling low, but it doesn't matter, you know it's down.
VGJ.
It's the ultimate. Coming in, 1, 2, 3, looking to bring him down in a hurry.
Virtus Pro.
Getting out the back 3-man wall and drives. Well, now is his turn.
Team Faceless.
He's done it. He's snatched the Aegis jet.
OG.
He's working through the crowd. He managed to get a 3-man ulti with the follow-up.
Evil Geniuses.
Interfall without Medusa. Thunderbird still losing everything.
SG Esports.
Comes back and it's into the Abbey. It's into
The Kiev Major.
There we go then, the opening for day 3 at the Kiev Major. We're getting ready for our set of quarterfinals today. All 4 quarterfinals will be coming from the Palace of the Arts in Kiev as we hunt down our top 4 teams here for the Kiev Major. The 5th Major, and still looking for a new winner. We've had OG and Secret, of course, win the previous 4. Will we get a new winner? Well, half of those champions are gone. OG are the last remaining that can repeat, and they have got form here. They are the Boston Major champions, of course. We're going to head into our first game of the day very shortly and head towards our first draft, but we're back with our panel to discuss these 2 teams. It's IG versus Liquid, Ben. In theory, and having seen them through the group stage and the first round, you'd have to say that this could be a good game, but IG, are they still slight favourites here?
I think actually maybe Liquid will be at this point. I thought IG was going to win the whole tournament, but they had pretty lackluster performance and day number 1, and Liquid looks surprisingly good after game number 1. And halfway through game number 2.
Yes, after 10 minutes of game 2, they look very good. There is the lineup. It is an all-star lineup, Conrad. We expect big things from this team, but no more so than the star player in the team. Burning has to deliver now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think the core of this group is Baboka, Burning, and XXS. Those 3 players, when they have great games, we see the best out of IG.
Curtis, what do you make of IG? Because they've been a bit of a mixed bag here, haven't they? They look great at DAC, and yet here it hasn't looked quite as crisp.
I don't think they've looked quite as crisp, but they're still a super strong squad. We saw them, like, when IG looks good playing their style, they look really good. The problem that I think everyone on the panel has is, like, what if IG don't get to play their style? Are they bannable right now? Have they taken their couple of days to, like, sort of figure themselves out and figure out a new strategy that's just as strong as their normal stuff?
Absolutely. And Team Liquid, they're also waiting backstage. You can see IG there just getting ready to come out. And the other team in this quarterfinal is Team Liquid. Ben, you said you have them as slight favourites?
Liquid?
Yeah, why?
Based off the performance in day number 1, I think.
Okay.
They're on the up and up, where IIG, they dropped the game versus Mouse, and it actually looked kind of close that they might lose that entire series and dip out on day number 1.
Keys to victory for Liquid, Conrad.
just making sure you get, Batoma Man kind of the farm that he needs to carry. I think their coach Heen is an essential part of why that team does really well. They have really smart players, really smart people, working with them. Obviously, Kuroki, if he wins the draft, it's going to be a clear win.
Yeah, it's always fun with him. We'll talk more about the drafters once the teams have come out onto the stage. But he's had a good tournament so far, hasn't he, Kuro?
I mean, you can't complain. They made it to the next round. That's always a success, right? The one key thing with this tournament is that the meta right now is very interesting. You can kind of play many, many different styles.
Okay, let's go over to the stage and bring the teams out into the arena.
This Chinese team shattered expectations at DAC by taking first place, defeating the reigning major champions in the process. This roster has reawoken the Burning Beast and the drafting genius of TI5 runner-up Q. The perfect blend of experience and talent. They are the team of the moment. Welcome on stage, Invictus Gaming. The fresh addition of the gifted GH triggered a revival that saw this squad tower over its rivals at Star Series I-League and reintroduce the world to the one true Maverick, Miracle. Captain Kuroki has led this organization to a Majors Grand Final before, and he has top-tier players under his command to do it again. Welcome on stage, Team Liquid.
Team Liquid versus Invictus Gaming. Massive game for both teams. Liquid flying under the radar a little bit as they head into this formerly double final reaches before. Both times, unfortunately, dropping to OG and to Secret. Looking to reach the semi-finals for the third time at a major by defeating their Chinese opponents, IG. Of course, legendary name in Dota 2. Two captains will be getting themselves ready. They'll head into their booths right now and get set for draft number one. And we'll turn our attention here on the panel to the drafters in particular. This battle, Conrad, you quite looking forward to this battle of minds, aren't you? Q versus Kuroki. It is a 5-position matchup, which we don't really care about in the sense of statistics so much and where they are and how they play around the maps and what have you, because they're not really going to have too much of an impact on each other. But it's the mind games that we're interested in.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how both these players are going to approach. One thing I like about Curl is trying different heroes. They picked Doom 4 times throughout this tournament, and that's something that we haven't seen a lot. Maybe he knows something that we don't. And then Q just kind of creating solid drafts for IG and able to help them perform really heavily into solving team fight problems, solving late game problems, solving pushing problems. he does a really good job of doing that through the games for IG.
Yeah, you've been in the booth when Q's been drafting against you. PPD once said that he was probably one of the best draftees he's ever drafted against. What's your view on him?
I think Kyo is an interesting captain because every team he's been on not only has the solid drafts that he brings, but I feel like he brings up the level of his teammates. Like aggressive on C deck, he would make really good moves, and now Burning makes really good moves. I have to try to sort of attribute that to Kyo.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's so impressive about him.
Ben, the matchup is quite cool, isn't it? In the Battle of Minds, Kuro's had a good tournament in terms of drafting so far, though.
Yeah, and I think Q has actually not been particularly great because it doesn't seem like they play well without the Riki and against the Lycan. Like,
right.
Or if either of those two get on the opposite team, I think they're at a pretty big disadvantage. And Liquid is probably the team that plays Lycan the most, I think, out of any of these
certainly
teams.
one of them, for sure.
So I think Q has to think about how he wants to handle that, how he wants to tackle the Vision game.
Key heroes that are going to be battlegrounds in here. You'd assume that the Crystal Maiden will be potentially one of those.
I think Riki's actually higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Riki is very high. Lycan, I think, might need to be first phase banned, potentially. Okay. I think Liquid will take it up in the first phase.
If not first phase banned, at least your first two picks have to have a plan against it. You can't have like two heroes weak versus Lycan. Liquid pick something into a Lycan, and then you're just like, oh, well, I guess I'm pigeonholed from my last three picks. You never want to draft like that. You never want to have to, like, you need something in your last picks or you're going to lose a game because then your selection is just so invaried.
Unless they have a solution for the Magnus outside of just banning it, I think that's going to be one of the heroes that Liquid's going to be targeting. XSS, just one of the phenomenal carries, and I don't see Mind Control being one of those players. I don't believe he is a heavy Magnus player, especially in this current meta.
I don't think they're that scared of the Magnus, actually. I think before it used to be really, really good, but I think Liquid have shown that they're like they have Doom. I think they can just run into the Magnus and not really be that scared. So I already think that's already one easy solution that they have, as well as a TA. I think it's pretty good core versus
Same for Lycan. Like, a lot of heroes that Liquid like to pick are quite good against the Magnus. That said, I do think XXS plays the best Magnus in a competitive scene right now. So we'll have to see what Kuro thinks about it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting either way as to what they pick. Any prioritization, do you feel, for each team? We'll start with IG. What do you think they want to get? Yeah.
What do they want to get? They want Riki. I think Riki is the most important hero that you want contested in between both teams. And then IG, what else do they want? I don't think Magnus they want so much. Lina, they probably don't want so much. What other heroes do they want? They want Monkey King.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna get through.
What about Burning's heroes? Do you think they're prioritized? Because he had a very narrow pool at DAC, didn't he? And there were some teams that sort of thought, well, maybe we target him for a little bit of banning and see how deep his pool goes in 7.0.
The thing is with the carry who's played carry for as long as Burning, he can play anything.
Yeah.
I think, was it Star Ladder where he was on DK? He played a different hero every game.
Yep.
I think it was like 9 games or something. He just, like, the reason why players like Burning have a low hero pool in a tournament like DAC is not because they can't play the other heroes. It's because they believe that these are the best heroes for the strats.
Right.
I'm sure if people targeted him with their bans, there wouldn't be that much of an effect in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you feel the same thing here as well? No different?
It's really hard to say.
He has mixed it up a bit here.
Yeah, but no one's also really targeted Burning for your bans. To be honest, going into these single elimination matches where you don't know that much about IG, I mean, they played a lot of games, but you still don't truly know. It's like, I keep saying this, but TI3 Alliance, you didn't know who you're supposed to target with your bans until Na'Vi sort of figured it out. Everyone was targeting the wrong guy. Perhaps instead of targeting Baboka, Burning might be the right target, but no one will know. Yeah. And it's hard to say, hey, I'm just going to give Baboka all our heroes so we can test something as single elimination best of 3 for freaking IG. Like, that's it's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, he has stood out. He had a fantastic DAC, Baboka, and again, has continued in great form here as well. They have been targeting his heroes, but it hasn't made that much difference, do you think? Or is that partly why they have been inconsistent?
I think it does affect that a lot. The other person that I see being approached a lot is OP. I think, you want to always give your mid laner a good matchup, and both these teams have very strong mid laners that can end up carrying the game, especially Team Liquid.
Yeah. I was going to talk to you about the whole OP miracle thing here, because there is 2 world-class players playing in this one. Does Liquid go back to a style that Miracle is more comfortable?
I don't know if Team Liquid plays that style necessarily. They like empowering.
Do they need to, though, against IG?
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's a style we haven't seen that Liquid has pulled out yet. They can fall back onto something a little bit different, maybe throw IG off guard and get a win out of that.
What about their final form, Ben? Was it what we saw against Newbie? Because they had to do something, didn't they? They had to pull it out.
Definitely. But I think IG is going to be much tougher to draft and play against than Newbie.
Why?
Just because, I don't know, I just don't think Newbie is that versatile. Whereas I think, for example, like Baboka's Tree and Protector play wasn't particularly good in the previous games, but he's had a good framework from, let's say, Fenrir, who played a really amazing one. So I think like a player like Baboka will be able to pick up on this and maybe potentially play Tree and Protector to the level that Fenrir did.
Yeah, I'll say one thing I'm concerned about Team Liquid. I think in the Newbie series, the reason they won that series was because of individual play and skill. I don't know if you can look at a team like IG and say, we're just going to outskill them. We're going to make these individual plays. I mean, if there's anyone who could do it, it's probably Miracle. And a team like Team Liquid, 3 9K MMR players. But I don't know. It's such a struggle because we've seen IG dismantle teams with very good players before.
Yeah. Yep, they're not immune to it at all. And I'm hearing around about 45 seconds before we head into this draft. Overall series predictions. This isn't for the, this is just for fun. Conrad, who's the advantage with?
I really like Team Liquid, but I don't know. At the same time, I think IG was a little faltering in the last series, but maybe that's going to inspire them here. If I had to guess, I don't know. I still go with Liquid. I think Kuroki's going to pull something funky out that's going to throw them off guard.
Okay. Ben, you're favoring Liquid as well, aren't you?
Save Liquid in game number 1. I want to say how IG have developed over the draft because I think they're pretty stale in their drafts. Going through the whole tournament, I think a lot of teams have gotten a lot better in drafting, especially IG's opponents, I would say. But yeah, I would have to favor Liquid a little bit.
Okay, Curtis?
I actually expected to come on this panel and have everyone be IG favored. From my point of view, I thought
I genuinely did too. I thought you would all be still favouring IG despite the fact they've had a mixed.
I mean, for me, I think the highest percentage is a 2-0 for IG.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to count Liquid out or anything, but this is like your reigning DAC champions who they weren't bad in the group stage at all. Like they didn't perform like 16-0 every single game, crushing every opponent. But I looked at them play, and when they got to play their heroes, which it seems they've adapted to, like getting those lineups, they looked really good still to me.
Well, I mean, they lost a secret though. Does that mean by proxy, SG? No, just kidding.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's
I wish that's how it works sometimes. Yeah. They beat this team, therefore we beat them. I'm not sure it quite works like that. We are ready for our first draft, and we are already in. 2 picks on either side. Players have been struggling with the lobby a bit, so we are now in, thankfully. What do you make of that so far, Ben?
I like the first ban Lycan from IG. I like the first phase Riki ban from Team Liquid. Monkey King is weird in that he's been picked a lot, but he's lost a lot. But I think IG Baboka is
50% win
story.
rate.
50% win rate? It was worse when I last looked at it.
No, for just Baboka, Monkey King,
just Baboka.
Just Baboka?
Yeah. Just IGs.
That's better than...
That's better than most.
Yeah, I mean, it crept up a little bit. It was around about 33% win rate, but still having a rough time, that's for sure, in comparison to DAC.
I will say
37.1 right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will say that these two heroes, CM and Monkey King, they sort of complement each other incredibly well. One, Monkey King really needs the aura. He wants a strong lane support that provides kill threat he can roam to. The other thing is, these are 2 of the best team fight supports in the game. I've seen games where these 2 heroes are the only 2 alive, and they're like 2v5ing. And I think one of the reasons for that is we always talk about this Monkey King. One of his counters is to get that physical damage jumper in there. But CM has 3 spells that are very good against people who want to do physical damage. She has a lot of attack speed slow. She has a spell that prevents you from attacking. She has a zoning spell that also has attack speed slow. And that always allows Monkey King to get off these good ultis.
And I like the synergy those 2 heroes have, especially.
I think it's at DAC. This is by far the strongest support combo.
Ben, you weren't sure that IG would even be allowed to play Monkey King.
No, I don't think so. But I think
is this the best game for Liquid to let them have it though? Game 1.
They're happy to get the NP though. We see NP actually first phase ban versus Liquid a lot, and I think they like the hero a lot.
And not only that, I think Team Liquid, when you go into the draft for someone like Baboka, who you know will want this Monkey King, you will tailor your first pick against it. I think Team Liquid at first pick, and they first pick Tusker, knowing that IG would take the Monkey King. Tusker is one of those support heroes who is pretty good versus Monkey King. He has a sigil to scout. He has something to get on top of him to allow your physical damagers to hit him. I sort of like the draft. Like, you can tell Team Liquid has a plan for this game. And IG, they might not have a plan, but They just picked their best heroes because it was given to them.
Yeah, and it's game 1, so give the Monkey King, test out our theory that we think we can beat them with it. If we do, then all's well, because then they have to change off the Monkey King and adapt to us. If they lose, then we just ban it.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And Team Liquid is definitely a Tusk playing team. They're 100% win-win rate with it right now. And to me, giving the option of being able to save somebody with a snowball gives you a lot of different options coming in later into this draft. Also, one apology. They actually only played it once, and they were 100% Baboka on
That's so 100%.
It's still 100%.
No one wants to give it to him.
Hey, and if you get the Tusker eggs, you can kick Monkey King out of his OT.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there.
It's elk time. Give him eggs, guaranteed.
I'm also wondering if
That's
that
good.
Nature's Prophet pick was sort of a flex pick as well, because Mind Control and Matumba Man play it. And you can put it into either lane and give yourself that flexibility for the rest of the draft.
I think that's something Kuro really likes too. Just one hero, multiple roads at the start. It makes it a lot harder to read your draft.
Yeah.
Something like Invictus Gaming's drafts is a bit easier to read. You see the 2 supports, you sort of know what their game plan is. But with those 2 supports in particular, the things that they bring are a lot harder to counter. You know they have very high kill threat.
Yep.
You know that they have very high team fight, and that's just from their supports. They can adapt the rest of their cores to sort of match what you bring and outscale you that way. It's
And one of the heroes I actually see, the only hero I think I see IG actually doing that with, is the Vengeful Spirit, which was banned out this game.
Yeah. The 2 most picked IG heroes of the Kiev Major are Magnus and Venge, both gone.
So IG go for the Batrider. I think they had some other options. I think LC is also like a single target disabler that they turn to, but XSS wasn't particularly flashy or great on the Legion that we saw, and I think that Batrider is much better versus the Tusk and the MP because Snowball's not that great of a save versus Lasso.
Yeah, you can't even snowball on Water Lasso. So,
Yeah.
And Batrider has traditionally always been a counter to the Nature's Prophet. A bit less so now that you can't flame break to make the TPs. But I think a lot of Batriders have adapted to that. They'll just start with the flame break and they'll save their lasso until the Furon's almost done TPing out, and you effectively have the same result. Oh yeah, go Team Liquid.
Ooh, Visage.
Team Liquid won. My prediction's wrong.
You really
Just
like
based
this.
on
I
one
know
pick.
you really like
I love
this
it.
hero.
That hero's good versus Monkey King. The birds can scout the Monkey King. You have the physical damage that usually you need a core to do. I think Monkey King, as much praise as he gets as a roamer, he's become surprisingly weak as one. I think that's why his win rate is so low right now. I think it reflects the nerfs. And Visage is traditionally a hero that isn't as strong in lane. So if you get away with this Visage, he will destroy those 3 heroes on IG. He's really good versus all 3 of those.
Not played yet at the Kiev Major by Team Liquid.
Definitely talked about Kuroki coming up with these, heroes that they haven't really, discovered or maybe really shown yet at this event, and this is probably one of them.
It's borrowed, of course, from OG. Fly was playing an awful lot of Visage before. I don't think Fly's even played it here, but certainly did at DAC early on.
Only VP played it here.
Only
At
VP?
Kiev, yeah. And I think that was like the fastest game of the tournament because the heroes are just so
That was
good.
the 20-minute game?
No bias.
No bias.
20-minute
Just the
game.
best
If you
hero
want
game.
20-minute games, pick Visage. AUI told me.
Yeah, one way or the other. You'll win or lose.
I mean, you're a legendary Visage player. Like, I remember watching you back in the day, just owning with that hero.
That hero's fun too.
Yeah.
Ember's actually pretty good versus Visage. Teams have been doing this. They pick the TA into the Ember Spirit. I think traditionally it's been the other way around, where you pick the Ember into the TA, but that lane, due to some of the recent changes, it's not that bad. It's a very skill-based lane. I think TA can win that lane, whereas before it's very Ember favored. The one thing I'm sort of curious about is Team Liquid have this Visage who's not the strongest early. He's not that bad. He has very high nuke damage and are slow, and a Tuskar who has very low damage versus these strong roamers on IG. I think Monkey King's not a strong roamer on his own, but when you combine it with the CM, you might be able to kill that TA quite easily.
At the same time, I look at Team Liquid's lineup, and you get the Tusk coming in, Templar Assassin just starts blowing them up. You get so much damage so quickly, and then if you actually TP the Nature's Prophet in, you're gonna get some really solid ganks off with that squad.
He's like the perfect lasso target, though.
Yeah.
I generally don't see TA pick versus Batrider at all because it's awful for TA at all. The +3 refraction or refraction in general just doesn't matter at all.
I don't think there are any carries left with saves for Team Liquid to pick. Because that's usually what you see. If you're going to pick a TA versus Batrider, you need to have a save.
Right.
You need to get into BKB so the Batrider has like spells that destroy refraction. I think Firefly takes 2 ticks a second. I think your
Still Weaver. Weaver eggs.
Yeah, but building eggs on a carry weaver it's very mediocre. Like, that's a good point though. It is a save, and it might be something you need to pick. Sometimes you don't pick the best things because you absolutely need it for your draft.
I mean, maybe this Nature's Prophet goes to carry role. Maybe we see something like an Enigma for mind control, something like that.
Oh, that's true. Matuma, I believe his favorite hero is Furion.
He likes that hero a lot. I've seen him play it a lot, and I think it's just as good, if not better, than mind controls.
The thing is, you put a one position Furion and you're against like Bat Rider or Ember Spirit. It's a hero that's already sort of countered, so I'm not sure. For IG, I think they need to pick a really strong lane matchup for Nature's Prophet. I think you should see this TA. You see that you have an Ember, you'll be like, I want to roam on this guy. I need something that where if they TP in their Furion, or they want to leave their Furion up there alone to punish, I can sort of just outlane him with my counter pick.
What heroes would you suggest for that role?
I'm trying to think of offlaners or carries that have, BKB picking properties. I think that's the one thing that they've... Oh, there's the Weaver.
Good call.
Yeah.
I guess Liquid are in the same vein of thought, though. Like, if we have something that counters Battle, our supports can help out mid as well. So I sort of like that the teams are thinking like that. I don't know what the carry is that's really good versus Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I can't think of that many.
It's a pretty good Naga game. He's pretty good versus Nature's Prophet in lane.
Well, no Naga.
Oh, it's banned. Second phase, sorry.
I mean, that's one of the things I feel like when you look at Team Liquid, you got to do it.
Thankfully, it's banned.
I like the hero.
Still
Venge. Like the hero.
Venge is banned first phase.
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
Yeah.
He's also saying they've Morphling.
Morphling.
That's a very greedy pick for Nature's Prophet. I think that lane is incredibly hard for Morphling. So the supports will have to help him.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know if they're thinking about trying to push it out and then maybe escape, but Nature's Prophet's always going to be able to TP wherever you're going to go, just with his abilities.
Draft complete then. Liquid have 5, IG have 5. They are ready in the booth to get underway. We'll get some quick predictions from our panel members once more. Conrad, we'll start with you. Which way is this going?
I really like Team Liquid's draft here. I think Miracle TA is one of those phenomenal heroes that ends up shining. It was the one reason why they came back the other game.
Okay. Liquid for Conrad.
I'm not sure. Baboka Monkey King or Liquid's all-around solid draft?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I will go with Team Liquid for this.
Okay.
I think IG has a better draft. I think their heroes are way easier to execute. I feel like Liquid's only stun is a snowball and Visage Birds. They're not reliable. I'm not sure how you want to kill an Ember with that. They have to... I'm not sure. I like how IG's draft plays. I think it's one of their styles.
Okay. So you're going with IG?
I go with IG.
Interesting. I like the fact that Curtis just takes all the emotion out of it. No, none of this whether Baboka might be great or whether Liquid's draft's better. And no messing around, he says. IG. 2 for Liquid, 1 for IG as we head into game number 1. Let's go over to our commentators for your opening match of the quarterfinals. Odie Pixel and Syndrome.
Thank you very much, Paul, and indeed a very warm welcome to you this morning, coming live from Kiev. I'm Odie Pixel, I'm here with Syndrome, and we have got quite the series on our hands. Team Liquid up against Invictus Gaming. The drafts are complete. This could be some next level stuff. This is arguably the strongest team from China against one of the strongest from Europe. It's going to be crazy.
It's an interesting matchup for sure. I would say arguably Team Liquid looked pretty shaky for 1.5 of their 3 games yesterday. IG probably also didn't bring out their best form either. So Liquid picked it up really, really well, especially during their 3rd game of the series. So if they can keep carrying that momentum in, that's good. IG obviously had a great start to the group stage, went 4-0 in their first 4 games, and then started looking a little bit less on their A game. But now that we're at the main event, this is where things go down. Their series against Mouse Sports looked pretty solid overall. They did lose a game. I think Mouse Sports played a great game there and had a good draft. This one,
whose draft do you like, Sid?
I think Liquid can play this game pretty fast with their heroes in comparison to what we've seen in some of their other games. I've been criticizing them for being fairly greedy. Then yesterday, I really liked their 3rd game draft when they had the Lycan, or was it the day before yesterday? I can't even remember. Might have been yesterday. Everything blends together at this point. But it seems Liquid have kicked up the pace a little bit of on their drafts. It's still very late game oriented with like these 3 cores in Templar, Assassin, Weaver, and Furion in this case. But there just seems to be more pacing going in. And IG have maybe slowed down a little overall. This time they're playing a Burning Morphling. They love farming on him, so as far as that goes, it's good.
For sure, On lane, XXS looking to make the bullet. Chased down by GH. Also Kuroki coming around for the sidelines as well. We'll see if XXS can get far enough away.
He can TP.
Yeah, but if they get the shards blocked to close the gap for Kuroki to get in, they may just have enough damage to bring him down. XXS, yeah, there's no escape for him, and that will be your first blood. GH and Kuro giving him the rundown, and did not quite get himself back to safety there, XXS.
Did GH not use shards until then a single time? He didn't even use it earlier?
I believe he didn't. Yeah,
very nice play there. Because
held right onto it.
I was looking at the pattern. He has a TP. You know, when you generally go for this pull, you have a TP with you, and then in case you get caught, you can just TP out. Oh, wait a second.
Look at this, straight to mid. Yeah, GH with the second use of the shards coming in. Can they chase this one down? The shrine's available. It's a very, very risky play, and indeed they will back up. So OP will just survive. Will be forced to use that shrine very early on, though, of course. And GH already making some big moves.
Yeah, this is a great play. The first kill on the Batrider. He waits very, very long with using these shards, and XXS doesn't really dare TPing because he thinks Snowball might be skilled. I think the moment the shards come out, he can actually TP instantly, and he will survive. Kuro can't really throw out a nuke because no real damage has been done, and if he skills the slow, he has no damage. So XXS was able to survive that, but it's a reaction thing. Make the right decision under pressure. Oh, they're going to dive in bottom here. Timberman actually going in.
It's deep. I mean, they're following him under the cover of the Firefly.
Force him out of XP range here.
And Liquid just doing their best to control the lanes, both mid and bottom, certainly going in their favor with these sort of plays. I say that, though. OP will move in onto Miracle. Miracle to be fine.
XXS is dead.
Yeah, and the snowball connects as GH picks up the level 2, setting up for Liquid to find themselves another kill onto the bat. 2 minutes in. 2 deaths for XXS. So Tusk certainly proving to be an issue for the Batrider.
Yeah, good early movements here from GH. So 2 quick kills for Liquid. The lanes are still going pretty fine for IG overall. See OP facing up evenly with Miracle and mid. Burning is clearly out farming the Weaver. That's generally the trade-off you take when you go for kills. You lose a bit of CS. And the Crystal Maiden is a bit of an X-factor in this game. This is the greediest CM opening I think we've seen the whole tournament. He has actually only jungled until level 3.5. And if Maiden can afford to do this, just jungle straight up, she can get levels very, very quickly. And wasn't really needed too much top against this Nature's Prophet, as it looks like. Bobica is a tree.
CM as well.
Mind control song.
Getting off the double stack there. The jungle, so
important for Batrider.
Efficiency will be very nice. Well, one thing though, looking at the drafts that I kind of wonder for Liquid going against IG, do they have enough control to deal with an Ember Spirit and Morphe? It feels like these two heroes, if they get past even just a slightly rocky beginning, it's going to be so hard for Liquid to control them. I mean, GH is having a good job of controlling XXS, but these two cores, if they get big, how do you lock them down if you're Liquid's lineup? Where's the control?
There's going to be this like maybe 10-minute window where it's difficult for Liquid because they don't have the items, but you can itemize against these cores. The Templar Assassin can go for Bloodthorn, the Nature's Prophet can get a Hex, so you can itemize that way. Even you could see the Visage even getting a big item at some point later on. Actually, Bobica's in a lot of trouble contesting mind control here.
TP's across immediately, pops the Mango, rolls in, and secures mind control, the kill in return. Just a bit of an overestimation there, really, from Bobica as he tried to man fight, but underneath the shrine, Monkey King wasn't what he was when he first came out.
Tusk is a nice hero against Monkey King just because, oh, wait a second, Miracle in mid.
Might just get
OP, wait, whoa, who's going to die on this one?
There's a wraparound for Kuroki. Kuroki should secure the kill onto OP, and GH, she's already coming in looking for more. Miracle keeps himself alive at the moment, being with the refraction, does go down, but IG, they've already lost 2. But Bobica chases down as well. He'll fall, double kill for mind control. XXS trying to find a trade and will bring down Kuroki. But mind control turning up, picking up a double. Favorable trade, end of the day for Liquid, still 3 for 2. Already 5 minutes in, a lot of action happening.
I like this high-pace play from Liquid, taking advantage of the Tusk's early strength, the Nature's Prophet being able to TP down. Sideblade's doing a lot of
You gotta be careful there, OP.
Yep, absolutely. Missing the chains. But where was I? Yeah, so Liquid can itemize to deal with this. Obviously, there will be a time window where IG where the items aren't online yet, and that's probably what IG will be aiming for, getting their Batrider Blink Dagger and then getting the Ember involved. Morphling might just play super hard carry this game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Burning picking up a Midas as his first main item. We've seen it before. Alternatively, maybe just the standard Lincoln's opener is also good. Now I remember what I wanted to mention. Tusk is actually really nice as a hero against Monkey King. Monkey King is one of these very mobile heroes, but if you cast Snowball on him, you will always follow him. You can shard him in when he's taking these early game skirmishes, and your Frozen Sigil to try to find him with. In addition, they also have the Treants that they can spawn out of the trees if they see him there, and they have the Swarm, and they have Visage Birds. Maybe a bit too many counters to Monkey King in the same game, I don't know. At least showing a lot of respect to Bobica from a drafting perspective here, Team Liquid. And so far, so good for them. This early game's looking pretty good.
Matumbaman able to get a fair bit of damage done to this tier 1 on the bottom lane. Already brought it down to 50%. And yeah, CS-wise, across the board. Miracle and Matumba in a good spot still. Top's place is reserved for Burning's Morphling. As he's having all the setup to become the Morphling that he wishes to be this time around. Mind control, obviously looking to the side lanes, has been going around with the rotations as we saw towards the mid, so finding experience and gold elsewhere. And of course that means he's unable to limit what Burning's able to achieve on his own.
He is. Safe lane. It's actually a really good thing to look at here, the discrepancy between the offlaners. It's generally what you pay when Nature's Prophet gets involved, but Mind Control hasn't really felt confident laning top in the first place at all. He's level 4.5, and the Bat Rider is level 6.5. This is just a Bat Rider stacking up the jungle a couple times, farming that. Oh, mid lane, OP. A lot of damage here from Miracle.
Just have to be careful. Look at GH as well. Really wanting to be primed to go in and try and get the catch.
It's a bit tricky for the Tusk to go on an Ember who's level 6. If there's a Remnant out behind and you start snowballing, you can actually get into a horrible position because the snowball will follow. I think GH now realistically just doesn't try mid. I don't think it's the best lane to look for here. A kill on the Bat Rider bottom is definitely possible. I would like to see that play out of Liquid where they rotate over the 2 supports bottom, try to kill this Bat Rider and TP in the Nature's Prophet and then take the tower. The tower is already at 1/3 health, so a Bat Rider kill should give them that tower. It's either that or they start treating Burning as a hero. I'm a bit surprised that this Morphling's just been completely left alone with 0 contention so far, no rotations, no. And it's not just, you don't have to kill the Morphling, you can at least, show presence in lane so Burning doesn't have this 42 denies.
Yeah.
He's just holding the lane, doesn't care.
It is interesting that Liquid aren't letting him get away with that much. I mean, we know that Miracle, he himself has been secured a good beginning in the mid lane, and the other day, Liquid had an incredible game with Miracle just driving the entire force and securing a very crucial victory for Liquid.
There comes the play bottom.
XXS being gone on once again. This game will have backup this time. OP coming in with a triple remnant, changes to 2. Matumbaman out of there already with the time lapse. Burning turns up to the fight. Gets himself involved in 1 kill. RG, can they find anything else? Q, lands the Nova slow onto Kuroki. Frostbite to follow up, and Burning moving in for more action. See if he can burst it down. Wait for him forward, and Burning with the great rotation will secure IG a very confident team fight win here, picking up 2 kills with his involvement.
IG were super ready for this, and I think the primary... Oh, here we see it mid. He is actually trying to go in for the Monkey King, and Monkey King jumped away. GH is in a horrible position right now.
He really is here, but Boca jumping forward again to make sure the gap can be closed. OP will look to move forward. The drum charges are popped, and IG hitting back very hard. Great
very
fight
nice
down
play.
bottom, and instant reaction there to an overextension from GH in the mid lane.
And I think the reason IG are so ready for this play bottom is that Liquid took quite a while to set it up. The heroes were missing from the map for a long time. And that's when you're as IG, you're like, okay, they're missing. What is their play? Our Morphling top's fine, they can't kill me. The Ember mid is fine, they can't kill me. So what are Liquid's options? We just need to be ready to counterplay bottom, and we're going to be just fine. And they were.
Will be able to easily jump himself out of the Sprout.
Mind
Spring's still on cooldown. There's
yeah.
the boundless strike to make sure there's no successful TP. And IG, here we have it, picking the pace back up after an early stage that looked to be going quite well for Liquid with some good rotations from their side. Now IG themselves going to have this power that we kind of expected them to have around this 10-minute mark, and using it very nicely. Liquid will still find the space to get that bottom tower. Burning may be getting his farm, but so's Matumbaman, very close behind the Morphling.
And Miracle is getting a lot. We've seen everything from stomping TAs to completely trashed TAs in the games.
And Miracle's at the upper echelon.
Miracle, exactly. They make sure Miracle gets a good game on TA. I think this hero needs it. We saw what can happen if it gets destroyed in lane in the series. I believe that was yesterday, Faceless versus TNC. And Miracle this time around at least getting some very good farm. He's currently farming Ancients, the double stack.
GH trying to make some space here with the haste rune, and in fact he's going to make it out. The mana not quite there for Q, as he must have been incredibly close to having it, as he was desperately claritying up. Nice little space created by GH. 6 for 6 at the moment between these two sides.
Bobuka is just a moment too late here. He comes over and spots out the Ancients, but Miracle's out of there. I think he got spotted by the Observer Ward that Liquid have in the river as well. So they should have a good idea what Monkey King is up to right now. And Bobuka will just head top to get some level and farm here, it looks like. So things are going to quiet down a little bit here. It's very difficult for Team Liquid to make plays right now. I think they need to continue ramping up this farm on Miracle, getting the first item on Mind Control. I am imagining we could see the Orchid come out early. I think it might be the way to go.
It's definitely something they're lacking, as you mentioned, itemization. And talking about, I don't think I've seen this before, Sid. We've got a Weaver going for a first time in drums.
That's a long time ago that was common. Weaver actually likes getting the int of this item. It's nice to have that little bit of extra mana on Weaver. In extended fights, you actually cast a lot of spells and use a lot of mana. I don't know how big a fan I am, though. I think it slows down the hero a little bit, so it's more of a fighting build, the way I look at it. But I would imagine it's something Matumaman rather has been experimenting with a bit and has enjoyed having. The extra tankability of it is nice. Weaver is a hero that benefits a lot from just a bit of extra health. That's why you see most players take the 6 strength talent over 30 Shukuchi damage, just because this hero is all about just staying alive and not getting burst down in one go. If you stay alive, you basically have double your health, right, in theory. So, makes a big difference. Top tower is going to fall here. Good split push from Matumaman.
Getting some good objectives. Mind Control is also able to snipe the courier with the Nature's Prophet play.
Burning got the bottom tower. He's getting very rich on this Morphling as well. If Morphling is only 500 gold behind a free farming TA more or less minute 12, it means Morphling is having a great game.
XXS, he's looking to try and find himself a bit of a pick as he goes towards Kuroki. Matumaman will be there with a rotation. XXS, can he finish off the Visage? He can. Almost certainly will pay for his life though as Matumba finishes him down. Q comes in very deep to try and save him. Boboka is there with the Wukong's command. He'll get it out, forcing the side of Liquid to back up. They'll trap GH in the party ring. He's out and down. Miracle looks towards OPQ though with a big freezing field, bringing the pain down onto Miracle as Boboka finds the double. IG coming in with a very aggressive fight. Matumaman questioning whether he can punish anyone on the way out. Look to play around a little bit with Q. Can he afford to get himself in and finish it off? He comes in once again, but doesn't want to reveal himself with the right clicks. OP's low, and in fact, Kuroki, if he lands one of these stuns, he should have it. Good boundless strike from Boboka to hold Matumaman at the shot. Ooh. Won't quite block OP in, so he'll be able to get himself back up to the high ground. The Shrine's there and ready for IG. They will be able to live and get away with a very, very nice aggressive play.
Liquid are getting as much out of it as possible, though. This is a nice play from Mind Control, identifying that he can force this mid tower down into deny range at the very least. If there's just a single hit from Matu, but for that reason, he doesn't want to do it. They want to get the last hit and not get it denied. But want to point out how nicely set up this fight was from IG. Yes, they lose their Batrider, but the way they baited the Crystal Maiden goes in for the Frostbite, and Liquid are like, oh, there's a Maiden here as well. They're overextending. They turn on him. Bobuka is just waiting in the trees. Gets out a good Wukong's command. Gets the Boundless.
Oh, he was spotted here. He got the jump off in time. Boundless strike, trying to hold back too, but with the Sprout, Bobuka not escape. And Liquid will be able to catch out the Monkey King. Those wards doing the job there. Burning.
Absolutely. Burning. Replicate.
Out of there.
See you later. And Lincoln's is 2 minutes away, probably.
It's in terms of popping the Lincolns for a start and then follow through silence. I mean, there's 3 heroes, I guess, that can build that sort of control. TA eventually, Miracle, maybe getting a Bloodthorn as such. You're going to look towards Matumaman, could always build the same way. Furion as well, but no one's queuing it up yet. It's a long way away. It still really does feel like there's just going to be this window of the game where Burning he's going to be loving life.
Oh, nice meld from Miracle mid. That could have got scary.
With the Desolator now on his plate, actually I just picked up, it's going to get even scarier if it lands the big hits.
I do agree, though. Liquid definitely have a problem with these heroes, but at the same time, you can also look at, again, I love talking about this glass half empty, half full. You know, there's some problems, there's some strengths. They have a couple of tools to break this Linken's with as well, so it's about being in position. Soul Assumption, very long-range nuke that can just take it out. I believe you can just cast the Wrath of Nature on the target just as the primary target of it, then you can also break it with that. It's not the greatest, but maybe the better thing to think about for Liquid is, rather than how do we deal with this morphling Linkens, is how do we ensure that the game gets played on our terms? Because I still think they're very good at the split push game with their lineup right now, and that they can just look to outnumber by outmaneuvering and forcing IG to port to lanes to defend. Really, in a way, maybe the bigger problem for them, rather than the Linkens, is Replicant. The fact that Burning can show up all the time.
Exactly. There's going to be the split push potential for Burning. There's this global ability to be wherever the lane momentum requires him, and they may just look to kill GH straight up here. Baboka's in the tree line. GH, they've gone with the punch, and Burning. He's just going to look to bait it out. They don't want to fight under the tower by the looks of it, even with the Monkey King's presence. Just a little bit too wary that the Liquid can turn up and turn things around, especially with Mind Control being around and available. Top lane, Matumba and Miracle. Maybe look to see if they can set something up onto XXS. And while with the trap slow, they're going to make it go. XXS taking huge amounts of damage thanks to the old Death Zone. And it will be a clean, quick pick here from Matumba and Miracle.
And Liquid's lineup has a lot of physical damage synergy. Meld, the Swarm, probably going to see a Medallion into Crest from the Visage at some point, or the Tusk. Either can get that. And Nature's Prophet likes to go for right-click damage later on into the game, so Liquid definitely has a lot of damage to stack up. It's all about the control, as we said before, and the game is right now pretty even overall, which I think IG should be fairly happy with. I think they would have liked to take they would have liked to take 1 or 2 more towers than they have. They've only managed to take the bottom 2-1. But the thing is, this early game against Liquid on paper looked like it could get pretty scary with the amount of snowballing that their lineup actually has potential to do. And since that didn't happen, finding this comfort zone for IG where they just get to farm up really hardcore on Burning. We've seen him go for some of the greediest builds of the tournament, this time electing not to go for Midas, which is very unusual for him, kind of.
And it certainly feels like the right choice. If he gets, he's already got good
mid lane.
Because, yeah, mid lane XXS with the jump in. IG look to start the fight. Boundless tries to follow through. GH is going to be taken out first. Liquid, can they look to punish? Mind Control will teleport in. Takes down one. Miracle jumps forward. Gets Q. They're going to look to triple remnant through and punish Miracle. And they'll bring down the TA. There'll be a buyback from GH. But Miracle's already down. Baboka controlling the field here with the Wukong's command. Liquid trying to come across with the snowball. The buyback for GH, managing to turn it into a kill onto Baboka, but they're coming back in. IG OP still standing strong again with the remnants. But Man has to get himself out of it. Liquid throwing a lot in at that, but again, it's the 2 cores of IG that stay alive. Burning, having no trouble working his way around the fight. And also, of course, OP just able to play so aggressive with these remnants and not feel like too much trouble. Good chain stun, but Burning's got the replica out. No Sword of Silence, no further stun control, and Burning is back to base.
Baboka got a little greedy in that fight, in my opinion, staying in his ring for as long as he did. Ended up getting caught off guard by a stun and getting killed when he could have definitely just disengaged there. But at the end of the day, at the same time, it baited in GH and got them a counter kill, so not too big of a deal in that regard. There was a dieback from the Tusk, so GH losing a lot of the progress that he was making towards that Blink Dagger. He was actually up to, I think, 1,200 gold going into that fight. Now he's down to 600. It always sucks when you're playing a support and you lose this much gold at this stage. When you're kind of a playmaking type of support, it hurts a lot for GH. And with that in mind, I feel like this is actually a fairly big win for IG, that fight. However, the gold is still looking pretty all right for Liquid, and so is the experience. It's a close game. Very evenly matched teams in this matchup so far.
Man is certainly going to have the damage stepping up with that Diffusal Blade completion. I mean, between him and Miracle, if they both get on the same target.
Yeah, I love this Diffusal choice against Ember. Yeah, I think it's a great idea here. If you see how the fights develop, just getting rid of Flame Guard, not necessarily to kill the Ember, but just to limit his damage is really nice. It's a secondary, or rather a tertiary way for them to remove Linkens as well. So, good item. And a nice kind of item to have against Batrider as well. It just means that if you get any slight opening on Batrider, even if he has Force Staff later, they can kill him from full HP. The Weaver can kind of solo him, actually, if he plays it well.
OP closing in on late mail. We can see that the road to the Basher for Baboka still a little bit away, but it's not going to be the slowest of timing. And IG will smoke up and get ready to go again. XXS with the lasso lead-in available.
I think this Liquid Ward saw them. They smoked at the shrine, but I think all of them were in the lower right half. IG have options right now. Where do they want to go? I think realistically trying to find any sort of pick around this mid area and getting that tower would be the best play. Oh, it looks like Miracle might just be
would be
into
the big
trap
catch here. XXS spots him out. Jump up, but Miracle quick with the meld and the blink out. Very sweet little play from Miracle there. Quick reactions, no time for IG to get any sort of detection down with that meld, refraction, blink out, and now Liquid, they're going to try and fight back. Time lapse out from Matumba burning. Ray forms forward, GH falling low. There's a big Wukong's command. They're controlling this area. Liquid have to be careful how they fight into it unless they can kill Baboka, and they can. They'll pick up a third. Liquid punishing this smoke very heavily from IG. If they can get anything more, Matumba is hunting. OP already back up to the high ground. They'll just look for the safer objectives there. Liquid say we've taken a very convincing fight win into the pit. And all again, that all kind of just transcended of the fact that Miracle was quick with the reactions, playing around and just catching IG off guard as they didn't get the successful initiation.
That was a very clutch meld. IG probably a bit annoyed here that they didn't bring, maybe with a dust there, he has the reaction time here. He could dust lasso before Miracle blinks out perhaps. That's one way. The other way is to have OP closer to the bat, so that if it is the TA they find, they can insta-slide chains, and then Bat Rider will get the lasso after. The lasso has a decent cast time, so it is possible for a Miracle to get the meld off. The moment Liquid had all of this information, this is a very easy fight for them to take. They know the positioning of the enemy heroes. They get a great swarm out coming from Matumba from the right, and they kind of just run over them from multiple angles there. So very nicely executed fight by Team Liquid. And now they built themselves a bit of an advantage here. That fight was actually a very big swing, the biggest swing of the game. Because it's the first time we have a fight that is this one-sided. I think it was a 3-for-1.
Yep, ended up being.
And a Roche.
Roshan and Aegis. Liquid looking to use this power spike to their advantage as they smoke up. Heading straight into IG's jungle. Q is going to be the one to tank this potentially if they catch him out, but
he actually got away.
Backing away. And unless Matumba wants to chase, Q should be fine. He'll see how much damage Matumba Man can get away with doing. Okay, there we go. Miracle up to the high ground with the DD. One meld strike to the back, and the CM is down.
He actually didn't get away.
He did not. Miracle, no mercy for the Crystal Maidens of this world.
Yeah, Miracle has the read here that what are the odds that this CM is going to go all the way back into her base and they will have multiple TP support coming in to save her. Very unlikely. Bat Rider was porting in but came in too late. Miracle snipes to get up quickly, and this is a tier 2 as well. Liquid are starting to pick up a lot of steam here. This is going very fast all of a sudden.
Well, XXS wants to get a grab though, jumps in, instant reaction there from Miracle, coming in and giving the melt truck is too much, but massive sleight of fist. They've lost the Aegis, Liquid and OP on the backlines, forcing Kuro and Matumba away. They'll control Miracle up in the midst of it all, and Miracle's brought down a second time, freezing fill from Q, forcing Liquid to back. IG striking back hard, they've taken down 4, they'll look towards mind control, has the Shadow Blade. Where's the detection? Doesn't look like they've got it, but IG, what a defense. Huge amounts of burst coming through there as they entered into that fight. 2.5k damage coming out from the Ember, equal amount almost from burning.
E-Blade reveal.
It was just bam, and the heroes were gone.
I don't think they were ready, first of all, for the E-Blade, and secondly, for IG to be set up this quickly.
Yeah.
That was a very fast defense coming out from IG, and their team fight is obviously really good if they can land all their spells like this. The Wukong's command from Baboka was really great there. The freezing field from Q doing a lot of damage and control as well. And then, as you said, Ember, the really big hero of that fight, getting a great double remnant on 3 heroes and having a remnant to get back out again. This is important in this fight. Look at when he goes in, double remnants in, takes the fight, saves the defensive remnant. This is a mistake I feel like a lot of Embers make, is that they see, oh, this is a great jump. I'm just all in on the play. It's important he has a remnant here, else he's dead. He's going to go out here. Would have probably been killed off by Matumba and Kuroki there, but disengaging. Maybe he could have played it just on the edge and stayed alive with third, but, you know, end of the day, fight working out nicely here for IG. Now, that's going to blow a bit of the steam out of the game for Liquid. They need to take it easy for a while, and if there's one guy who's happy about that, it's Morphling. He just had a great fight.
Absolutely.
He's going to get his next, Yasha is coming in here, working toward the Manta style. A good way of dealing with
once
TA.
Once he has a Manta and a Lincoln's, it's burning is... It's going to take a mistake from burning, I feel, at that stage for him to actually die. And as we've seen from Burning this land, he's been making very, very few mistakes, if any.
I feel like Morphling with Manta is one of the best counters to TA in the later portions of the game. It's just you have so high base attack speed with all your agility. Oh, XXS is dead. Nice pick from Matumba,
Yep.
we talked about with the defusal.
Very,
as long as
very
he
good
just
catch in the back.
gets in and hits him, he's dead. So they get a pick there. But yeah, what was I getting at? The Morphling, very high
With
attack
Manta
speed
style.
with Manta style, instantly burns through refraction. Even if you have this refraction talent in the late game, Morphling can get rid of this refraction of Templar Assassin through a BKB within a matter of 1 to 2 seconds. So Miracle has to be a bit cautious with his plays on the TA here. Nice to see Liquid take advantage of this pick they get though. The Bat Rider being down is a big deal. Secures them a tier 2. And IG are doing whatever they can to get a trade off here. Gonna use the replicate here, Burning. Send it away. And look to get the trade off. And well, speaking of trades, trade into trade into trade. Liquid takes mid. So 2 towers for 1, pick on Bat. Good stuff from them, but it is concerning that they lost that team fight. I feel like that's a very big moment in the game.
It was what, the Aegis team fight, a team fight after you just taking a team fight 3 for 1. You know, Liquid, in their minds, they must have been feeling great. And then to be hit back down like that, ooh, Matumba. I mean, he's got to be careful. This is a Weaver with a fair bit of HP now, but Burning still. Bring him to the edge of death with that burst. And again, just replicating out of there with no difficulty whatsoever. Very close to having the ultimate orb towards the Manta style. We're going to see the first bit of lockdown being built up as Mind Control closes in on an Orchid. And of course we'll look towards the Bloodthorn. And they absolutely need it. They need sources to be able to have a chance of killing Burning or even killing OP on this Ember.
Yeah, at the same time we have a big item coming out for OP. Getting the Shiva's Guard here on the Ember. Almost getting level 20 as well. It's a big talent. Can pick between the 10 armor and the Flame Guard, but Guard Absorb, I would imagine he just takes the 10 armor since there's a Diffusal Blade in the enemy team. Flame Guard's not that reliable. It's also not really that good in this game necessarily. It's more the physical damage he needs to worry about.
Definitely.
So getting a 10 armor talent and a Shiva, suddenly you have an Ember with 40 armor. 45 actually. And that is without auras from his team. It's just his own item build. He gets armor from the Veil, he gets armor from Blade Mail and from Shiva.
And XXS, he's found himself a Tusk in the Riverside. IG. Another pick off. 30 seconds down for the Tusk. They'll start to move across, look to see if they can get anything else out of this. The Sigil's still up. Provide the vision for Liquid, so Liquid will be able to avoid being potentially caught out even further. But yeah, Burning with the money cooked, ready and done for that Manta. Will be there for the next fight. Matumba going back for the Lincoln Sphere after that Diffusal Drums opening in this build. Something a little different. But the Lincoln's certainly still feeling to be a necessity against this huge single target burst of the Morphling, the control from the Bat's Lasso.
Yeah.
But it does feel like it's a bit of a weird build, isn't it, from the Weaver? As you said yourself, it kind of slows down what sometimes Weaver wants to do earlier.
Yeah, I think Matumba, this drum, the way I see it, hasn't really paid off enough. I think he kind of regrets buying it at this point, that he feels like there was a better alternative. If you want some quick HP on Weaver early on, you can go for an Urn. It's a build we've seen Weavers go for in the past. It can be pretty effective. If you want to take this fighting approach, it's in some ways better than the drum to have that Urn, get those charges up, and then build into a Linkage or Diffusal. Alternatively, he could have gone for the real Glass Cannon build, where he's just like, okay, I'm going to rely on my mobility and my decision-making early, get a Diffusal. Oh, top lane.
See if they can find Baboka.
He actually got out here.
Look at this distance he can create on the Mind Control. Looks for the vision with the Sprout, but he's already out there with the TP for Baboka. Very, very hard for them to catch.
Did he not see him with the Sprout?
I think he might, but he wouldn't have had anywhere to stop the TP.
Nature's Call? Monkey was in a tree, wasn't he? He could have spawned treants out of him, and he would have been stuck.
I don't know, would he have had the cast range? He was quite far away.
It looked like he was casting it on animation canceling, so that made me wonder if he actually saw him. Top Miracle is melded. Burning did some good damage. We're already starting to see this is just Mantas taking a good chunk out of Miracle, who now has an Orchid, as you were mentioning. Big item coming out. There's no counter yet on OP, but he's already building into Lotus Orb.
Lotus
That's what
Orb
it's called.
For himself, yeah.
I was about to call it Echo something, because I think, what is it called? Echo Shell?
Echo Shell's the spell component. But yeah, as you mentioned, Lotus Orb, and then suddenly these Orchids, what are they going to do? There's a Manta on one of the cores, there's a Lotus Orb on the other.
He has 57 armor on Ember.
57 armor on Ember.
When he's next to this. And that's just with an Aquila Aura. There's still more armor auras to come for them. No AC, no Vlads. I wonder if they want to buy either of them in this game. Might see Ember.
That is an
it's
insane
overkill.
amount of armor.
TA is going to tickle him, actually. And that's absurd. That is absurd, actually.
Top lane mind control, goes straight for the BKB TP out.
No bash, fortunately for him.
Lane XX says, grab the lasso onto Miracle, freezing field, everything being thrown, and that's actually Miracle down for 70 seconds. GH actually throwing his life away as well in the mid lane.
This could be wrecked, so there's no buyback.
There's no buyback for Miracle.
This is really, really bad for Liquid.
I mean, IG...
Yeah, Mind Control has to just try to cut the wave, because they know how scary it is if Morphling gets to their base.
They're looking for the chase down. 4-man reaction there to the presence of the Nature's Prophet. IG...
Mind Control had to make this play. It was the best play he had. Yes, they're going to lose the Roshan, but at the very least they didn't lose their mid lane Rax. If he doesn't cut the wave, that lane's gone. Morphling pushes extremely fast when he doesn't need to be scared of anything, playing on max agility using the Manta. They're going to get the Roshan instead. I wonder if they're going to give it to Burning. I feel like it might be better to put it on the Ember, but Ember looks like, no, just give it to Burning, I guess. Ember's top. I don't see Burning dying.
I really don't. It's something we mentioned straight from the off this game, and it's playing out like that. Burning may very well finish this game without a single death to his name.
Yep.
At this rate. 5-0-8. He's going to be able to pick himself up a free tier 1 at the top. On top of the Manta and E-Blade, he's well into the funds for building towards the Skadi. So many stats, so many ways of getting himself in and out of the fights, and not a lot that Liquid have to punish that.
That's going to be 2 towers as well. IG just claimed like the biggest bounty in this short moment of time. They got the biggest kill on the map. They got Roche. They got top tier 1. They got top tier 2. They now have an Aegis to push with. And as far as the gold goes, it still looks like an even game. It just doesn't feel that way. I feel like IG are massively far ahead in this game right now. And the problem, in a way, is just that Liquid's gold and the itemization, they have so many problems that their items don't feel like they pack the same punch.
No, and it's the fact as well that
way more.
Your second highest on Liquid is Mind Control, which is great, but that's because Matumbaman's falling behind. He's still not anywhere near the place he wants to be in terms of farm on this Weave. 32 minutes in, Diffusal and Drums, and the Lincolns. He's just not that scary at all.
No, he really isn't.
And now he's looking for the BKB because I guess he feels like he likes to, but this is a Weaver that's having to buy Lincolns and the BKB. At that point, I mean, he's going to be able to keep himself alive for a bit, but still it feels like he's only going to be tickling, especially this Ember Spirit with a bajillion armor.
Yeah, Morphling isn't shy of any armor either. He has 31. It's scary stuff. Nice play by Mind Control there, by the way. I'm pretty sure we did get that on camera. Instant Orchid on the Bat Rider so he could TP out. Bat Rider is sitting without a BKB now, so couldn't get the lasso on Mind Control fast enough. Did escape. But Liquid have got to feel like this game is slipping away from them. Question is if they ever really had it in their control. It looked good for a moment, but it seems like after they lost that mid-tier 2 fight where they lost the Aegis, nothing good has happened in the game. Kind of. Not a single good thing has happened for them.
What's their plan? It will be time to smoke. Liquid desperately needing something big from this one.
Yeah, there is actually nothing good that's happened. There's only red dots for the last 10 minutes on the net worth graph. Every single kill or tower or objective, all of it, IG.
They need something juicy. Maybe they could get OP, they'll jump in. He does have the Lotus Soul to remove one of the silences. There we go, and he's out. Just like that, the Lotus Soul paying off immediately, and immediate smoke in reaction from IG. Liquid have to be so scared and careful now.
OP took 300 damage. He took 300 damage there, and I think there was a Melt Strike involved in that. That was part of it. This is a TA that likes to one-shot or two-shot supports at this stage. I mean, great. He can definitely kill Q if he gets through the Ghost Scepter. But
Matumbaman will dispel the smoke. No detection laid down straight away. Matumba's already managed to get himself away.
Nice play
Vision
from
for the first catch. Shiva's Guard will connect onto Miracle, and there's the lasso. The follow-up burning, just blowing up Miracle. 80 seconds down, and this game, as we've been saying...
Oh, there is a creep mid. They need to keep it alive here, IG, to keep this push going. It did die. So
they've got another wave coming in. I mean, they almost certainly are going to have a very good chance of pushing out this buyback. Yeah, the pressure's going to be there. There's the first silence. OP again. Just Lotus absorbs it off. He's A-okay. Mind Control forced upon the BKB as Burning comes in with the combo. And IG just stand their ground, hitting onto the tier 3s. Where is the defense from Liquid? Miracle still holding onto that buyback. it looks like they may just take the decision to sack this middle lane of Rax here.
They're going to lose 2 lanes if they don't buy back. They already used Matsumamans, or rather Mind Control's BKB. They used the Nature's Wrath. Actually, there was raided.
He's going to roll in, but he's just going to get ripped to pieces straight away. This is Liquid just falling apart by the looks of it for the time being. That's Mind Control down for 70 seconds. He's got no buyback. OP holds back too with the chains on the front lines as well, just blade mailing. Liquid just can't put a dent into IG's armor at this stage of the game. They'll move to the second set of Rax. There's the boundless strike onto Matsumamman, getting blown up as well from Burning. This Morphling's just too fat, too strong. IG just looking a step ahead in the draft, a step ahead in the play. The itemization as well so far this game has just countered everything that Liquid's tried to do. They'll go for a snowball on Burning, but he's already replicated out, dragging GH into an awkward position. OP just turns around with a slight change. Remnant in, and that's the second one out. Lasso's there to follow through onto Miracle. Boundless strike onto 2, catching Matuma as well. The chains is there to follow up, and Liquid, they are just getting torn a new one, Sin. This is absolutely brutal from IG. Relentless slaughter as they find Miracle again, force the GG out of Liquid. Oh my goodness, and IG, they are looking incredible this morning. That was just next level on all accounts.
That was such a strange defense to watch. They're 4 on 5. They have 50 seconds on Miracle that they need to defend their tower for. They use the glyph, they use their BKB on Nature's Prophet, they keep trying to defend. What ends up happening is they don't want to buy back Miracle. What did they say? What did they trade for keeping Miracle from using buyback? They lost 3 buybacks, 1.5 lanes of Rax.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying they would win that game if Miracle buys back. I just feel like this is very uncharacteristic for Liquid to make such a big strategic mistake. Because you look at how fast the enemy team pushes and what advantages they have going in. If Liquid don't buy back Miracle, the game is over. If they buy back Miracle, the game is extremely hard, but it's at least within their reach. And what happened? They used 3 buybacks. Miracle joins the fight, dies, has to buy back again. Then he just dies anyway. So, to be honest, it's gonna look stupid that they lose the game like this. I feel like the game was kind of over at this point already. When they killed Miracle here, if they force his buyback and still have the Aegis, they can just play it slow, push the tower with the Morphling, build a bigger advantage, and eventually take the game. So I don't think they lost on it. It just looked strange. And rather, maybe we should be focusing on what Liquid should change going into the next game.
Yeah, I think that's something that the panel will certainly look at. But indeed, what a game from IG. Burning, indeed, as we mentioned, didn't end up dying at all. 8-0-15, only 1 death as well on OP, 10-1-17. Incredible performance from the whole team of IG. That's it from myself and Sim for now. We'll head back to Paul and the boys in Bucharest.
Thank you very much. Yes, a very dominant performance from IG. They have come out all guns blazing. I'll have whatever they had for breakfast, I'll have 3 of, please. Fantastic performance as they open things up. Conrad, we'll start with you. Just great performance all round, really.
Yeah, IG played really solid that game. They had a little bit of a rough start early game, but Baboka and Q just getting ganks off and bringing their carries back to the game. I think XSS phenomenal. Burning OP. You can just talk about this whole team and see, as 5 players, they're playing very well together.
Yeah. Ben, what did you like about them?
I like their draft. I like the preemptive picks, too. We saw the Tusk come out before the Monkey King. We saw the Bat Rider come out before the TA. And I think that both teams prepared pretty well for this particular matchup. This was one of the first few fights that IG won. Q just hit level 8 off the Tusk, and then this ulti destroyed Miracle. But we talked about in the draft that they didn't really have a save for Miracle, and Weaver did not end up getting Ags, and every time they lasted the TA, she was just dead. It was way too much on Tusk. Even if he snowball or is there for the fight with like a punch, he's still dead.
Yeah, OP did a very good job of baiting out GH. That was kind of their only stun, their only catch for him, and just doing that. If they have no catch for the Zember Spirit, you're gonna have a hard time this game.
I think it just felt so hard for Liquid to team fight. You have all these single target heroes. They have, in my opinion, 5 single target heroes, and no one to set anything for them. Single target heroes are important in Dota. You need them to burst heroes down, but when you don't have any stuns for them to hit people, they become incredibly useless in team fights. And we saw IG just, I don't think there was a single team fight that they really looked that weak in. Maybe apart from the one where Miracle blinked out from the lasso. That was a cool play.
Yeah. You had faith in IG before this game started. You also like their draft as well and proved right.
Yeah, I didn't know the game was going to look like that, but I didn't feel like Ember and Morphling could ever be killed. And Ember had the one death early, but after that, even in team fights, he was just so elusive. And Morphling, I don't think, died at all. So
yeah, Cinderin said at the end of the cast, the job that Liquid have now is figuring out the draft, figuring out how to counter IG. We talked about the Monkey King before. We said maybe it's a risk letting that go through to Baboka. Had another great game on it. Is that something they focus on?
I think it's more the off-lane matchup. We have compared the contribution from the Nature's Prophet to the Batrider. The Batrider perhaps died a lot more, had less farm, but his contribution to winning the game was bounds and leaps above the Nature's Prophet.
Seems to be coming back into popularity as well, the Batrider, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Faith Beyond play it the other day. Phenomenal. I think putting XXS, he really does well on getting these initial initiators, while Liquid is trying these more carry-oriented ones like Nature's Prophet.
I knew where you were going with it.
I think from a drafting perspective, if you pick two weak team fighters, like Nature's Prophet, Tuskar's not bad, but he's not as strong a team fighter, into supports like CM and Monkey King, it gets really hard to do the rest of your draft. Because all IG have to do is like sort of match your team fight for the rest of the draft. If all that matters in Dota is your relativity. If you have slightly better team fight than them, if you can sustain that throughout your draft, then you're always going to have better team fight than them. It's not like you need to pick Warlock, Tidehunter, all these big team fights to just have better team fight. You just need slightly better team fight your opponent.
Do we often put too much emphasis on the draft?
I mean, it's a very important part
Sometimes,
of the game.
but probably not this game.
I think in series like this, where you're playing a best of 3, the draft is the only thing that you can realistically change. So we can talk about play, but you're not going to fix a player's their big mistakes in their fundamentals between games. The only thing you really can talk about is like, hey, if we draft this way, it'll make us play in a certain way, because players' play is dependent on the draft. You can have a really good player with a bad draft and he won't look amazing, and vice versa.
Okay, MVP's a bit of a tough one, really, because there was a few candidates in here. What have you gents gone for?
We picked OP.
I personally really love OP. I thought his build was phenomenal. I think there's been a trend where people build Yules on Ember against silences, but he opted for a Lotus, which I thought was really cool. It's a lot faster. You're not waiting up in the air. It gives you more armor against a purely physical lineup from Team Liquid. And I've never seen an Ember Spirit build, what do you get, like Veil, Blade Mill, Shiva's, Lotus Orb into an Octarine. That's like the least greedy build ever, because he knew that if he survived in a team fight, they could not lose this game. It just, the presence of mind that item decision making shows is just phenomenal.
Is he going up in your estimation, OP, the more you see of him?
I mean, it's hard because I had him as the best Chinese mid already. So, like,
okay, you were ahead of the curve. You're already there. He's playing phenomenally well, and it's great to have a player when he's on form like that, and smart builds.
Absolutely brilliant build. Like, I don't know if someone told him it in the team, but generally item builds are more left up to a player. You know, you can have suggestions, but you can't be like, yo, you better get this item, because like,
do you ever use the in-game suggestions? Like, what should I build?
All the time.
What are those extra builds?
What's wrong with that, Curtis? Right? What's wrong with that?
Here's how item builds go. First, you click the guide. You open up the Valve guide. You buy all those items, and then when you finish buying all those items, you open up the suggestions. That's how it works in pro games. Yeah.
If only it was that easy. I'd be a 9K player then.
You get my Battlefield on Bounty Hunter, and I was in there for a long time. Someone suggests me a rapier. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Helm of Dom with wrong items.
Mask of Death into Helm? For what?
Yeah.
Why is this not combining, guys?
How do I get lumber?
Very, very good. Okay, in terms of Liquid, disappointing result, but did they play that badly?
Individually, probably not so much.
I felt like they played as well as their lineup allowed them to.
Yeah.
Tusk dies a lot, but I guess GH just wants to save his teammates.
The thing is, as the 4-position player, he knows that he needs to do something to make this fight happen. So like, he's looking for ways throughout the game, and you're lost. So like, you're taking a risk, and he's basically playing off, hey, maybe if I make this aggressive move, I have a high percentage of your opponent screwing up. Because like, you can't play defensively and just like wait to lose. You have to make something happen. And like, we see these pros, he might snowball and you're like, oh, that's a feed. But no, he's playing that's his best percentage play.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I personally like the Kuroki Tusk over the GH, but you know, I think Kuroki, if being the Visage player, that's what they drafted and that's the method they're going to go. You maybe try and look at some of GH's other heroes and see what you can do there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was looking through the hero picks. They hadn't actually picked Visage since 7.0 came out. And the last time they picked it was GH playing it. So they've obviously played something around since and tried to figure it out.
It's pretty interesting to me because historically it's been like me, Lo, and Kuroki are the only people who play Visage in the entire Dota scene for some reason. Heroes OP, but like I don't know.
Well, Fly's been playing it a lot.
That's true, and if Fly joined us, his Visage.
He joined the Visage
he
club.
he used to have no tail micro his birds, but now he's very good
did,
at it.
yeah.
So he's come a long way since then. His Visage is actually really good.
Yeah, no,
I
he's
learned a
alright.
lot
He can
from
do
him
his own
watching.
thing now. He can look after the entire hero. It's all good. Okay, we're headed towards our second draft, of course. But before we get to our draft, why don't we check in with our social media questions? Plenty of questions have already come in. Please do add some more as well. We'll try and get through as many as we can throughout the day. Team Liquid love Morphling. Is it time they finally pick it?
I think in game number 2 it's a possibility because Liquid have first pick, so they get either Riki, Wisp, or Lycan.
King?
Monkey King? Nah, they're Monkey Kings.
Team Liquid at first pick game 1.
It's pretty
right.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, I
they-
think so.
Yeah.
IG picked CM Monkey King DR. They first picked Tuskar into the Furion.
That's true.
Yeah.
I thought they would have tried to get Wisp.
IG historically is a team that favors second pick. So we might see them get first pick again. I think it's because they expected the Lycan Wisp bans, to be honest. I think Lycan as a pick, if you're going to first to it, you're going to pick a hero and then pick Lycan as your second pick as first pick.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
I think they could have let the Riki in though. Like you don't ban Riki first, and then you see which one they ban. If they ban Io or Lycan, you can probably get away with the Riki first pick, which I think is really strong against IG. And then they can, if they want Tusk, they can pick a second because I don't think IG are going to first.
That's a
pick
good
Tusk.
point.
I mean, maybe they came into this draft thinking, oh, we want to ban out Babocas, and we're going to try something a little bit different. But, you know, now that they've seen this, and they really, you know, they obviously saw the Lycan ban, maybe they're thinking, oh, maybe we can pick up this Riki and do it more effectively ourselves.
The one thing I'm concerned about as a Riki pick is, like, Baboka's a player who's not only good at a hero, he's also very good against the heroes he's played. You know, Riki has been effective versus IG, but I think we saw it happen when someone picked Monkey King against him. Baboka's like, he's a hunting.
Yeah, he knows how to chase that hero.
It almost, he's got like a sixth sense. Well, I've played it, and I know where I would be at this particular part of the game, so I'm going to go here. Oh, look, I've got myself a Monkey
You were talking
King.
about that during the game. You're like, if Burning were a Visage player, he would have waveformed those birds.
It's true. Like,
I mean, experience comes, it's a huge factor into this. You know, players that have been playing for a long time, they've seen a lot of different things in their pubs, in their games, in their scrims.
Okay, let's check in with another question before we head to our draft. As I said, there are threads up. You can go and add that to Reddit right now if you want to, and add your question. Who knows, we might get one through. Player-hero combo with the most impact so far during Kiev. Ooh, player-hero combo.
S4 maybe on the Enigma?
S4
I don't know if they would have won that game without that. I mean, I'm thinking more of the main stage here. I didn't get a chance to see every single group stage game.
I don't think any of us did.
I mean,
it has to be like the classic. Like you have the S4 Enigma, you have the Sumail Storm.
Yeah,
Sumail Storm yesterday was great.
That game. Maybe XSS Magnus. I think he really makes that hero work really well with IG.
Yeah, Baboka on the Monkey King.
A little bit less, to be honest, in my opinion.
Not as powerful as
DAC,
has it?
He's still insane. Like it's the only team I would consider really banning Monkey King against.
Right.
But and he played it well this game, but I didn't feel like Monkey King was the sole reason they won this game.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like these other players like Sumail Storm and like the XSS Magnus and the S4 Enigma, suddenly they solely win the games just off that one hero.
Yeah, the OP Lena in the group stage.
Perhaps. I mean, Miracle TA the other day.
Oh, actually, ADR's Lena in his game versus Secret. I think that was the best Lena I've seen as tournament
Actually,
by
right.
far. Not even close. That was incredibly impressive. He took the damage hunt. He went Shiva's first, which I loved, and then he had a Dayless and he was out DPSing all the heroes.
Yeah, I mean the Shadow Fiend. Like I was like, holy.
Yeah, the damage output that he was doing in that game.
Yeah, there was a clip.
It was insane.
There was a clip on Reddit I saw that Lena 4-shot Alchemist. That was the most cathartic experience I had in like forever. But that hero does deeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely does. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. There has been a few. We've been blessed with a few fantastic player-hero combos over the last 4 or 5 days, and I'm sure we'll get a few more today and tomorrow, of course. Semi-finals and final tomorrow. Quarterfinals will be completed by the end of today. We'll be down to our last 4. If you're just joining us, welcome to Kiev Major, day number 3 here of the main event. We're into our second game, or headed towards our second game of the opening match series between IG and Liquid. IG taking the first game relatively comfortable as we head to the draft. Why don't we check in with one more social media question before we get to that draft, and we'll figure out where the players are in terms of lobby position and what have you. Who of you would look the best with a moustache?
When I was
Ben.
I've been growing my note for a month now. And
it's coming. No, it's definitely coming. Yeah, it's almost there.
Thanks.
When I used to play with Milk and Pusher always been like, man, I could have just imagined you with a Fume or with like the Confucius beard. That was his dream. I feel like if I did that, he could die happily.
I mean, I imagine, like a Merlini cop with like a really thick mustache. Like that's what I'm imagining. That's like what I'm imagining when I look.
Good.
I mean, I think maybe yourself, Paul. We've seen some older clips of yourself.
Yeah, well, I do Movember most years.
Oh,
most years. So you end up with some form of tash. I did beard and tash last year, but there has been a few less than savoury images put up on the internet by Knoxville. Thank you, Knoxville.
I'll be sure to find that one. I know the exact clip I'm thinking of.
Wow, you can get away with Movember? It's like Movember does not exist. That's what my girlfriend told me.
What about I think I can. Yeah, exactly. I do Movember. Nobody notices.
Yeah. No, I think
I'm not growing any facial hair.
The problem is facial hair is fine, except I'm now very patchy because I have white bits in my beard, which is not good. But just tash, I end up looking like a 70s porn star. It's just not a good look.
Can we get a Photoshop of all four of us with the ideal stash?
Yeah, I need to see this.
Challenge
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
So
right.
I can get a
so
police officer
all
one
look
or
into the camera
Confucius.
over there. All look into the camera so they can get a shot, and then they can screenshot it. That's enough. Good. And then someone will Photoshop that now.
We need ideas for you guys. There's so many different types of mustaches.
I can't even imagine myself with facial
Can you have
hair.
like
Well, you'll be able to once the GIF comes. If we get the image in, we'll give it to the production team, and hopefully they'll get it on the screen.
Boy.
You know the AR, they can just put mustaches on us, right? Is that how it works?
What a time
I
to
don't
be
know if the
alive.
technology's quite that good, Kurt, to get you a
I've
moustache.
seen it on Snapchat. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that good. I mean, it might be. We can check with Vlad maybe later and see if there's some sort of trickery that can make you look like you have one already. But I'm sure there are genuinely some decent Photoshoppers out there that will no doubt ping us on Twitter or Reddit or somewhere hilarious images incoming for Photoshop. Maybe it'll end up on PS Battles. Who knows?
That'd be great. Submit it, please. I want to see you with a handlebar.
I don't think that works.
Oh, you'd be great with
You'd be
handlebar
great with
moustache.
one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Because
think
with your classic training and your musician background and your singing and
I think I smile too much for a handlebar. That's the problem. I think
Were
that's
you
like
smiling in the shot?
Yeah, I think I was. I do like a smirk kind of thing. You know.
I hate smiling for photos.
Yeah. No
Every
teeth.
fan that takes a photo of me, like, and it's not because I don't like. I like it taking photos of fans. I genuinely do. I love the fans, but like, I don't know.
You're
it's
a pretty
so weird for
smiley
me to
guy, though.
smile.
Like,
you're quite a
it's
smiley
too
guy.
awkward.
You know what
when
they
I-
need
when
to
I
do?
make myself
Bring
smile.
you food,
Oh,
and then you'll smile.
I do like the food.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not super comfortable with it. I'm okay with it until they bring what looks like a camera, but they're actually doing a video, but they don't tell you.
Oh.
So you stand there going,
Yeah.
and you're waiting, and,
See,
you're,
that's
kinda
why I
like,
don't
and you're just sort of
smile.
smiling, and it feels really forced, and then suddenly they go, yeah, I'm doing a video, and you're like, well, why didn't you tell me? I've been standing here for like 20 seconds with a stupid grin on my face.
And now they got a great video of you looking a little dumb.
Yeah.
And then they post it. Of
Yes,
course.
they
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. As you can see, players have finally entered the booth. Had a slightly extended break here in between the two games. I guess Liquid have a lot to talk about.
it's a smoke break.
during
I was about to
that,
say both teams I think have guys that smoke,
Yeah.
so maybe in a little bit extended, maybe trying to get
Yeah.
that extra time to talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you'd imagine Heen has had some words with them.
For sure. Definitely somebody who's impacted that team a lot. Back when Blitz was coaching that team, now with Thunderbirds, they definitely, as a combo, really, really became effective coaches, and by just giving them advice in between games, not just mentally, but also through the in-game knowledge as well.
Pick AOE. That's what you said, John.
They definitely were single target oriented. I think that was a big problem. Yeah, I 100% agree. That was a problem last game.
Yeah, I think we might see some big changes on Liquid side of things. As far as IG are concerned, though, Ben, they must be very satisfied after that first game. They seem to have got the rust out of their systems from the group stage.
I think they looked a lot better than day one of main stage and during the group stage. That was probably one of their best games.
Yeah,
I
that they played like.
Yeah.
Good. Like that was a Dota
that was a good
Mm.
meal. That was a very good
that
meal.
that was good to watch.
Yeah.
I will say though that I feel like this is also Liquid's sort of, hey, we're testing the waters. We can play against your Monkey King. We can play against your CM Monkey King. We'll give you these heroes, see if you beat it. We mentioned in the draft. Maybe
Yeah.
Liquid's like, hey, if there's a game to try this, it's game 1.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it is that game, isn't it? They can't afford to do that when they're 1-0 down. And now they are 1-0 down. Now it's time to focus on what they're good at, bring out the A game. We saw it against Newbie.
The Lycan. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But
Lycan's going to get banned.
I could see it being
There's
banned out.
no way.
I think IG's. I mean, I think everybody should be afraid of Matumba Man Lycan. That hero is
yeah,
really.
I'm terrified of it. I don't even play against it. It gives me nightmares. Watching those wolves skull those smokes, like that's legit what Dota players have nightmares about. You smoke, and then the wolf dies, you're like, oh.
Yeah, he just plays that hero phenomenally. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more of it